Hello everybody, Mr. Storm here. Welcome back to Kerbal Space program. In the last episode, we flew our crew up to the KSS Longbow, got the crew docked and transferred into control of the vessel, and then set up and performed our ejection burn to escape the sphere of influence of Kerbin. So that is on its way. Once the longbow escapes Kerbin's sphere of influence, we're going to need to do a second burn that will set up our final encounter with Duna. And then it's just a matter of letting time pass to get our ship there. Though we do have the unmanned probe that I launched a little while ago that is still on its way, that is going to arrive there first, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that one first, and then do our scientific experiments with the unmanned probe, and then wait for the manned mission to arrive. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. I do have a new project that I want to get started on, but I am going to need a little bit more science to unlock one particular tech that I'm going to need. So I'm basically not going to be able to get to work on that until after the unmanned probe performs its job once it arrives at Duna. So that's pretty much where we're at. So that's what we're going to work on here. The first thing we need to do is we need to get the longbow out of the sphere of influence of Kerbin, and then get that burn set up to get our Duna encounter. So let's go ahead and take control of the longbow and then get to work on that. Now, if everything all goes according to plan, this is a vessel that I think is going to be continuously used throughout the series because, it's all modular in nature. It has docking ports. If we want to fly it again, all I got to do is refuel it, resupply it with life support supplies, or if we unlock new engine tech, what I could do is undock and deorbit the engine section, fly up a new engine section, dock it up, and then we can put new engines on it. Or, again, because we're all modular, we can undock pieces, insert new components, all sorts of stuff that we could do with this, so there's no reason to get rid of it. Though the lander, I think, is not returning to Kerbin with the ship. It's going to be staying in Duna orbit. So that's my plans right now, because that's just a bunch of mass that just we don't need to return with. Alright, so let's go ahead and fast forward here. Let's go ahead and tell it to warp out to there. Okay, I can probably just go ahead and tell it to complete out to there. Alright, we actually do have some things we can do here. We have a crew report. We can go ahead and just transmit that back. And we have an EVA report. Let's go ahead and get Bob to take that report. This is the first time we've actually had Kerbals outside of Kerbin's sphere of influence. So that's good. Review that data and then transmit that back home. Alright, good. Alright, so let's see, 2 hours from now, we're going to add a maneuver. And then what I want to do is we want to... let's make sure that I am targeting Duna. Okay, there we go. We have an encounter. Now, what I'm actually going to do is change our focus to Duna. Okay. So that'll let us see what the trajectory is going to be. Okay, so it's pretty close. We're going to be coming in low. Let's see, what happens if I say add some delta V there? Okay. And what if I say add some delta V? We want to be making these these adjustments as far out as we can, because you know, the further out we make them, the less delta V it's going to cost us. Okay. Alright, I want to make sure that this comes in nice and tight. Okay. Okay, that's... Don't want to be coming in from that trajectory. Do I want to come in from that trajectory, or do I want to flip it around to the other side? I think the other side might be a good idea. Okay. Now, in this instance, because this is a fairly precision burn that has to happen, I am going to go ahead and use the maneuver planner here to go ahead and execute the node. Just let the autopilot take care of flying that node for me. We're probably still going to need some adjustments once we actually get there, but for now, I'll turn on the RCS. Okay. It's a 3-minute and 36-second burn. Okay. It's going to be another 363.5 meters per second. That should be okay. Alright, turn the RCS off. I don't want to burn RCS fuel needlessly. Alright, so that's going to run. And if that burn gets anywhere close to this, that'll be nice. I don't expect it will, because there's just some inaccuracies and things that just don't quite line up. Oh, this thing. Can I just move this somewhere that it's not in my face? Okay. we still have more than half of our fuel left, which is good. We're going to have to perform a capture at Duna. This is going to use up some more fuel. Alright, a minute and a half left to go. Let's see, we have 3 years, 194 days of life support left. Good. Now, a while back, I had the trajectories mod installed and enabled, which allows you, which basically calculates the trajectory that you will actually fly once you hit an atmosphere. So it allows you, to kind of figure out where you're really going to land. And, it also helps with performing aerobrake maneuvers. Now, I had turned it off because it was causing a lot of processor load that was unnecessary for a lot of the things I was doing, so I just disabled it. But I did go ahead and turn that back on for a couple of reasons. One, I have a new processor, which is way more powerful than my old one now, which significantly helps with this game. So it shouldn't impact performance as much as it used to. And also, I'm going to attempt an aerobrake maneuver at Duna. I'm going to see how that's going to work. And I'd like to plan that out so that I don't end up crashing into the planet. I want to hit that atmosphere just enough to slow me down and hopefully capture without needing to retro thrust, which will save us a lot of fuel. Alright, we're just about done the burn. And here's where we're gonna get a little inefficient. Alright. Slow it down. Okay, good. Stabilized. Okay, let's take a look at what our trajectory actually is now. Yep, didn't quite get there. But that's okay, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the RCS thrusters. And then I'm going to use the RCS thrusters to make fine adjustments here. Let's see. Okay, what direction is that actually moving? Okay, so that's going up and down. Okay. That's really what I'm interested in right there. Okay, let's see. All right. I'm not getting the trajectories calculations here. Alright. Well, that's going to be close enough, and we might have to make some adjustments once we get to the sphere of influence to see if I can get calculations as to what this is going to look like if we attempt an aero brake. Just out of curiosity. Let's see. If I were to add a maneuver node there... and... okay, doesn't seem to be doing what I want. Alright, how much delta V are we going to need to capture here? About 600. Alright. Alright, well, we'll just have to see what happens when we get there. But this should be a fairly decent trajectory. Yep, just gonna have to use RCS thrusters, I think, to make those adjustments once we arrive. Alright. But, all we really have to do now is wait. Because then we'll bring it down to, like, what? 2550 delta V. And if we want to try to return from Kerbin, from Duna, we're going to need 1600 delta V. But we won't be able to perform any other maneuvers in Duna orbit. Hopefully I'm going to have enough life support to last until then. Year 3, day 242. With 262-day travel time. Alright, well, we'll see. But for now, what I need is to take control over this. Switch to. Alright, so this is our unmanned probe. Let's go ahead and warp forward, because I don't really have anything else to do until this thing finishes its mission. So let's go ahead and tell it to warp there. Alright, there's the longbow. It's going to arrive quite a bit after this thing does. Alright, let's go ahead and Finish the warp. Okay, there we are. What's the exact relative positions? Okay. There it is. Okay, so we're gonna need a capture burn at periapsis. Well, how fortunate is that? I did that by complete accident. Oh my goodness. That is complete accident. But look at this. If I hit this maneuver precisely right, I will arc in, have an encounter with Ike, and then get flung into a trajectory that puts me at fairly low Duna orbit. With one burn. Oh, that is just beautiful. 1,300 meters per second. Excellent. Okay. No, I'm not going to MechJeb this one. Alright, let's go ahead and warp to right before the node. It's going to be a 1.5 minute burn. Which means we want to start burning at about 47 seconds before the node. Alright. And once we get close to it, I can fine-tune the trajectory by hand. 30. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cut off. Okay, turn that off. Oh, what, are we not going to get it? Did I go too far? Or did I miscalculate slightly here? There we are. We aren't quite getting the trajectory I had anticipated. But, at the minimum, if I can get that icon counter... If I can get that icon counter... I may be able to modify it once I actually get there. Alright, but for now, let's go ahead and start running our experiments. Alright, temperature scan, transmit it back. Mystery goo observation, transmit it back. Materials study, transmit it back. Atmospheric pressure scan, transmit it back. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's see, if I were to tweak some of these parameters a little bit. See, that would kick me out. What if I were to do... No, nope, that's not what I want. Alright, never mind. Let's go ahead and warp to there. That's going to be another 5 days-ish. They're going to go by. Alright, so let's get our encounter with Ike. Alright, there we are. Let's get ready for a retrograde burn. Alright, let's see. If I were to begin a burn, that's in 5 minutes. To just slow down a little bit. That helps. If I were to adjust this ever so slightly. There we are. That's what I'm looking for. All right, I want to get low. 97,000 meters. All right, excellent. This one I am going to MechJeb. Execute the next node. Again, because of the precision nature of the burn. Alright, we've got temperature scan, transmit, mystery goo observation, transmit, atmospheric pressure scan, transmit. Meters per second. All right. Let's go ahead and warp through here. Alright, there we are. Let's go ahead and tell it to warp to that point. Alright, there we are. Temperature scan, transmit it. Mystery goo observation. Transmit it. An atmospheric pressure scan. Transmit the data. Okay, excellent. Is there any way I can get another encounter with Ike? Something's going to be less than that. No, it would have to happen here. We'd have to do a match planes. So we would have to go to one of the nodes, add a maneuver. We need to do a plane change. Which that alone would burn all of our fuel. Let's see, if we were to iterate the orbit, that would get us an encounter. Can I just edit the node, please? Stop moving to that. Okay, select the node. Can I use this to do it? We don't have enough fuel for that. Okay. That would get us a 19,000 meter encounter with Ike. And would throw the probe onto that ultimate orbit. Which I think would be fine. Because we can just leave the probe in the vicinity and it can serve as basically a relay. Hopefully it won't impact Ike at any point. But again, I want to go ahead and tell the maneuver planner here to execute the node. Alright, that's going to be 2 more days. So I don't want to screw that up. It's a 4-second burn. So I think I can squeeze a little bit more science out of this thing. Which is basically why I'm doing this. Actually, let me get all out of the map. Just so that we can get a better view of what it's actually doing. Alright, there we are. And did that get me what I wanted? Pretty close. Alright, let's go ahead and warp to that point. Hopefully I still have some available experiments. I still have 14 meters per second in the tank. Let's see, if I were to burn off the 14 meters per second... that would put it into a slightly different trajectory. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this is basically just burn the engine until the tank's empty. I am going to just do this by hand. Alright, we do have two things we can do. We can do a temperature scan, transmit it, and an atmospheric pressure scan, transmit it. Excellent. And then in... Alright, in 3 seconds, we're going to burn. Burn. And there we are. Engines out. That's going to throw us onto that trajectory, which is going to have one point where it does get close to Ike's orbit. Hopefully that won't cause any problems down the line, and we can keep this probe in Duna orbit because it has a nice antenna. It can act as a nice relay. So, there we are. We've squeezed as much out of that probe as I possibly can. And how long till the longbow arrives? Alright, encounter is in 85 days and 2 hours. We have 3 years of life support left. There's Duna, right there, I do believe. No, wait. Let's see, where is it relative to the sun? Alright, so if we put the sun... Yeah, I think that probably actually is Duna right there. And I guess that's Kerbin? No, that would be Joule. That would be Joule. There. Alright. Good. Let's go ahead and get back to the Space Center. Because we got 85 days left before we need to worry about that mission. So we can get to work on some other things that can help with that. A couple pieces of the debris over here. Let's get rid of that. Weird. Alright, we have 516.5 science. Very nice. Now, the one thing that I need is scanning tech. Because that gets us the survey scanner. Atmospheric fluid spectrovariometer. That would be good for atmospheric probes. So we may do that at some point. Some unmanned probes that will drop an atmospheric pod. That might be an interesting thing to do. But let's go ahead and unlock that. Now we have 216 more I could get precision propulsion, which gets us a bunch of small engines. But it is pretty much a dead-end tech. Nuclear power, which gets us our first nuclear reactors. Advanced metalworks. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here we need. Off-world robotics. Nuclear fuel systems. Improved nuclear power, which gets us more reactors. Okay. There's like 10,000 science. There's no actual parts in there. Gigantic rocketry, colossal rocketry. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff still needs to be unlocked here. Right. So hopefully the Duna mission will get us a lot. Alright. So with our scanner tech, that means that we can begin building a probe that I'm going to put into moon orbit. That's going to be the plan. So let's begin the design. Probe core. All right. Survey scanner. All right. So this orbital survey scanner uses a combination of advanced sensor tracking, sensor technology, and witchcraft to provide information on planet or moon's natural resources. So this is going to let us see where there are obtainable resources on the moon, because what I want to start doing is collecting ore, resources from the moon, and then I want to set up a moon orbital station that will process mined materials from the moon into various things that we need, like fuel, for example, to allow space vessels to basically park at this station, get fueled up, and then proceed on to missions deeper into the Kerbal system. So that's going to be the plan. But first thing we need to do is we need to figure out where the resources actually are so that we can then begin a mining operation. That's going to be the plan. All right. So, when deployed, how much power does this thing use? Any? Minimal altitude, maximum altitude, 1.5 billion meters. Okay, well, what I might want to do, well, we're going to need a fairly sizable battery bank. Just to make sure it's going to have all the power it could ever want. Photovoltaic cells. There we are. And I am going to want to give it a small engine for some orbital maneuvers that may or may not be necessary. Oh, we're actually going to need some communications as well. Right, communications. This should be more than adequate. .2 gigameters. 707 million meters. So this is actually a better... These are actually better. Okay. Let's use those. Alright. Excellent. Photovoltaic cells. We don't have any better photovoltaics, do we? Not yet. Well, besides these, and I think that's probably overkill. Yeah, definitely overkill. So if I were to use an RCS fuel tank, maybe a couple of them, and then we were to add some orbital maneuver engines, small orbital maneuver engines, orbital maneuvering engine cluster, too big, orbital maneuvering engine, 2,000 meters per second at delta V, really? That's a bit more than I need. That's too big. Interior liquid fuel. Liquid fuel and oxidizer. Alright, well, let's go with liquid fuel and oxidizer. Let's do that. No. Needs to be right size. That'll do. Okay. Put the Terrier on it. 2,200 meters per second of delta V. That should be more than enough to do whatever orbital adjustments are needed. Makes this thing, what, 2.5 tons? It's not bad. Anything else I want to stick on here just because I can? Sentinel Infrared Telescope. That's a sizable piece of equipment. Okay, so that's gonna be its own beast. Alright, well that's definitely something I'm gonna want to put in orbit. Don't need that. Don't need any of these other things. Okay, so this is just going to be for accomplishing what I want. So let's go ahead and make sure that these guys are assigned to an action. Extend the solar panels, and 2 is going to be toggle the antenna. There you go. All right. .5 meters. It doesn't seem to be detecting this thing properly. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of poking out there. Yep. It looks like just gonna have to put up with that. Could I just do the Gladius lifter? That should be more than enough. 3,300 meters per second. Oh, is that the correct? That's correct. Then this. Then that. Oh, right. I want to add stack decoupler there. All right. $7,900 meters per second. That could put this thing in the orbit of most bodies in the system. That upper stage is probably unnecessary, but we'll do it anyway. This is going to be the moon resource scanner. Save it. Payload. That's about as good as I can get it. Alright, there we are. It just needs to be launched. And flown to the moon and put in orbit. And I want it in a polar orbit. Because I needed to scan the entire surface of the moon. I'll probably put it at about a 200,000 meter orbit, 200 kilometers. $250 kilometers, something like that, and it should work. All right, but I think that is going to be saved for next episode. So next episode we'll launch this probe. Get this scanner in moon orbit and positioned correctly, and then I might set up a satellite to use the infrared telescope, put that into Kerbal orbit, probably on a polar orbit as well, and yeah, just get that set up and going. And then I think we're probably good at that point. I'll have to check up on the status of the longbow, where it is, how things are going, and then I think might start working on the design and construction of the moon resource processing base. Maybe. We'll see. Alright, but for now, I'll stop here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.